Who want one last trip to the long trail?
Harada said they use character popularity to determine the base roster for Tekken games. In your opinion, what is the most important metric when deciding the character roster? This idea for a poll originated with a video. I uploaded this clip by itself already to the channel, so some of you guys may have seen it. So I'll just skip to the part that's important to this video. Let me set the scene. This is at roughly the start of Tekken 7. At the bottom you can see it say Tekken 7 Fatal Retribution. So at this point in time, I think the game is just about to come out and they're talking about what characters aren't in the game that they want to be in the game. That's what Markman asked Michael Murray and Harada. Now, Harada first speaks in Japanese. Michael Murray translated. I want to play what he says and then we'll talk about this and the poll, and also I have comments from you guys too that makes pretty good arguments.
But as he's often said, we choose the roster on, popularity, whether that's, actual play popularity or whether that's as a character setting. We take both into consideration.
In Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Harada said that Jun Kazama in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 was not a popular character. And that is talking about in-game statistics. But then when you talk about the setting, the media presence, Jun Kazama over the course of Tekken 7's lifespan has grown into one of the most requested characters in the game. Also, you could talk about Bruce. Before I go any further, I want to look at the percentages on these polls. 3 options. 23%, the first option is character popularity, which is media presence. This is social media, this is memes, this is cosplay, this is fan art. The next one under 21% is character usage. So this is in-game statistics. This could be win rate, this can be loss percentage, how many times they're played, online and offline. Character diversity, gameplay, and design. When you think of character diversity, you often think of the developers trying to weigh men versus women, all that stuff, but it's really more than that. Character diversity also factors in gameplay, what region of the world, how they're dressed, their fighting style, their design. So many different aspects factor into character diversity. I want to play a little bit more of this video. We're going to finish up with Harada's translation, and I want to pay attention a little bit to what Michael Murray says, because it's honestly really shocking seeing how Tekken 7 played out, hearing him say this at the beginning and then seeing how it ended. It's crazy.
Definitely Lee, just because of what we did with him in Fight Lab was so much fun, and I think as a character he was just so exciting.
I like hear what Michael Murray says about Lee. So in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, you had Fight Lab, you had Combat. That was a really big thing for that character. But also too, he talks about how he took Lee too much in a comedic aspect.
I think we took him a little bit too much in the comedic role. I mean, he is supposed to be a really cool character from the start of Tekken. So if we could also show a different side of him, I think that would be cool. So definitely Lee.
I feel like for Tekken 7 and the Tekken genre as a whole, they've been going more so down the route of every character is a joke. Yes, back in the day they had some aspects because these characters have many different sides to them. So yes, they can be happy or joking in this scenario, but then in another, when it comes to fighting, when it comes to this, they are serious. And I think that's how Paul Phoenix is. Even in Tekken Bloodline, we could see him joke around and make jokes with Jin Kazama, but when it came to the match, he was serious. And I think that is what's being lost with the Tekken characters. But to see Michael Murray acknowledging that, at least with one of them, it shows that they are aware of what's happening and are trying to course correct. If I had to say which one is the most important out of the 3, I probably would say character popularity is then second character usage. When you're doing a base roster, you really want the core characters to be there. You want characters that everyone can relate to. When you're designing a new game, the character's outfit can be changed. The character's gameplay can be altered, but the character itself cannot be. I want to jump into the comment section because the first one here, 25 likes, makes a very good point. Kuma is one of the least used characters, but always makes it in the base roster. And the reason why Kuma is this anomaly is because he's a core part of Tekken. Casual players or people who may not be so ingrained into the community, when they do play Tekken, Kuma is a character that they remember. King is a character that they remember. So those characters, it's necessary to be there for Tekken to remain Tekken. Kuma is like the Blanca of Tekken. You will recognize that green character across a lineup of 1,000. Kuma is the same thing. Another comment here says character popularity is important in a base roster but becomes even more important when deciding on the potential DLC. I feel like base roster needs to have all of those 3 traits covered in one way or another. The main difference between DLC and a base roster is with a base roster, you're trying to get people to buy the game. You're trying to get people on board with what you're doing. When you're talking about DLC, it's literally 1 character at a time, sometimes 2 characters at a time. And you want people who are already invested in a game, in a character, in a fighting style to be invested in a new one. So DLC characters is like they have to go above and beyond what the base roster did. And honestly, this is why we see so many DLC characters be overpowered, because it's easier to make someone pick a character because it's power rather than its design or its gameplay or its fighting style. The final comment I want to read, it says, I personally feel like they should focus on diversity and then popularity. Character usage should be the last because the meta is constantly shifting and the base roster should focus more on everyone, not just hardcore players. And one part that I didn't really touch on, and I saved it specifically for this comment, is the meta. The reason why character usage isn't really something you should trust is because a lot of people, especially in Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, these current fighting games, people pick characters based on the meta. In the past 6 months, Fang went from one of the least used characters to one of the most popular characters. So if you were to go off of character usage, would you put him in the game because he's popular now, or would you leave him out because he's only popular now because he's powerful now? That's one thing about character usage. It gives us a false sense of reality, and it really can trick us into thinking a character is beloved because a lot of people is playing it. It's hard to justify a character being in the game solely because they are used a lot or because they're not used enough. You do have these cases of Zafina being one of the most powerful characters in the game, Akuma, Ganryu is another character that's extremely powerful, but no one wants to play those characters. So you do have these anomalies where power doesn't equate a high usage, but it's obvious with the ones that does, that this is a fact for. Like as soon as Fahkumram got nerfed, people abandoned that character. Fang risen up from the ashes. Usage is something that shifts. It rises and it sinks like a tide. That's why I think the most important metrics is definitely the media presence, the popularity, but also diversity, gameplay. How do you want the game to feel? What do you want these characters to be? I think that is what's important because balancing and all that stuff comes second. Those are just my thoughts on the discussion. I'm looking forward to what the base roster for Tekken 8 will be like because in reality, all of these things will factor into it. Popularity, usage, diversity, story, the meta, what happened in Tekken 7, what happened in past games. All of these things will be factored into it, and I just want to have this discussion because I think it's an important one. And once we get past base roster and into DLC, these kind of conversations and discussions will come up once again, and I will be there with all of you to talk about it some more. But that's it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video. Also subscribe to the channel. And if you have a Twitter, go and follow me on Twitter. But that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.